Hi there, welcome to Valley Prep Tutoring in Los Angeles, California. We are here today, we're going to talk about the PSAT. This is very important information you're about to get for those of you who are freshmen, sophomores, and juniors in high school, and even if you're in middle school, it's good information to have. So the PSAT raises a lot of concerns for a lot of students. Really there's a question of what is this test, what is the point of this test? Is this really just preparing me for the SAT, or is there some other purpose? Well, one thing to know about the PSAT is that it also has something connected to it called the National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test, the NMSQT. All right, so all these acronyms can get confusing, but the NMSQT is actually going to be relevant to you if you are in the top 1 to 3% of students in your state with your academic abilities, because what happens is you can become eligible to earn scholarship monies that can be applied to colleges. Now, it varies state to state. So certain states are more competitive for the score that you need as a minimum to qualify to become a National Merit Scholar. Other states are less competitive. You can find information about that on the College Board website at collegeboard.com. What I recommend is that you take a look at your grades, take a look at how you've done and what level of coursework you've been using as well. So if you're in a pre-IB or preparing to go into AP courses, or maybe you've already started doing courses like that, you might be a candidate if you're able to do that level of coursework at an A level for the NMSQT. So with or without that, the PSAT is something that almost all juniors take in October of the junior year, and right now it happens to be the day that a lot of our students here at Valley Prep are taking their PSAT right now, which is why this was on my mind. Wanted to sort of put this out there to all of you because there's no reason that this information shouldn't be very public, and we want you to know what to expect. So the PSAT and the SAT, these are two very different tests. PSAT, a perfect score is 240. SAT, a perfect score is 2400. Well, as you can hear, we're just multiplying by 100 and adding a 0 in those points. So what you can expect is that although there's not a one-to-one correlation, you can get a pretty good idea of how you might do on the SAT in some sections based on the PSAT. There's a very big difference, however, in that the PSAT does not have an essay. Also, the PSAT has only 5 sections, whereas the SAT has 10. The PSAT, what you can expect is Section 1, critical reading, Section 2, math. Section 3 comes back to critical reading. Section 4, oh yeah, you guessed it, comes back to math. Section 5 is actually a writing section, but by writing, they don't mean that you're writing an essay. This is actually more what I would call a grammar section, where you're being given sentences that have errors in them. For example, pronoun errors, antecedent errors, verb and subject sort of problems within the sentences. Any of those types of issues that you need to be able to accurately diagnose why that semicolon shouldn't be there and be able to find a correct replacement for what that is showing you. So the critical reading on the PSAT is going to have sentence completion at the beginning, and then you're going to go into the writing passages. It's a really great idea to bone up on some of your vocabulary skills before you take the test, because you're bound to see words you don't know. Being able to break them down is going to be helpful to you. Also, here's a big strategy to keep in mind. Skipping is allowed on the PSAT. I know you've been told always eat everything on your plate before you get your dessert and finish every question on a test. But don't think that way on the PSAT, because here's what happens. They're going to deduct a quarter point every time you get something wrong. You're going to get a full point added to your raw score every time you get something right. So those quarter point deductions can really add up and hurt you in the long run. If you know you don't know the answer to something and you're pretty sure that you can't really even rule out more than one or so of the possible answers, just skip the silly thing. Because guess what? Those quarter points adding up can actually hurt your score more than helping your score. And it's counterintuitive for a lot of American students who have just been told to answer everything. But the SAT as well as the PSAT really has a skipping strategy that you want to get comfortable with so that you can maximize your score. The other thing I can mention before we finish up today is that there are scaled sections of difficulty on this test. You should know if you're looking at a 25-minute math section, and let's say there are 20 problems or 25 problems. Basically, if you take the number of problems and divide it into thirds, right? Let's say there are 24 problems. Well, the first 8 are going to be fairly easy. The middle 8 are going to be kind of in the middle, medium. Those last 8 are likely to be hard because this test scales from easy to medium to hard. It's kind of like they get you comfortable and you feel all confident, like, oh man, I got this in the bag. And then you get in there and then you get to like question 19 and it's like, what the heck am I even looking at? I don't know what that even means. So budget your time wisely. Know that it's going to get harder as it scales. Know to maybe skip at the end if it's something that you don't know. Nobody's going to yell at you and keep your dessert away from you if you don't clean your plate. You are allowed to skip. Please don't skip everything. That's not a great idea, right? Also, the beginning of the critical reading does have scaled difficulty in the sentence completion. So you'll see easier words at the beginning and more difficult words in those last few. Usually there are like 6 or 8 of those at the beginning of a critical reading section. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3, easy. 4 and 5, kind of medium. 6, 7, 8, yeah, watch out because there are big words coming your way. And, you know, if you can do great with them, fine. And if not, skip it. We just wanted to remind you that you have lots of strategies and lots of options, and we want you to be well prepared to get out there and give it your best. So go do that, and we'll talk to you soon.